Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and before I do get into it all, I do apologise for yesterday evening. I couldn't, I wasn't on like I did say, that I would have been. I do apologise because, I was currently busy. So on this video, I'm going to give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference reaction, building up to the FC Astana Manchester United game, which is obviously now today. It is a current 10 to 4 kickoff. It's obviously, his press conference was yesterday, so I am going to interpret, some of the stuff and that he had mentioned. So obviously, Solskjaer is aware that obviously, Man United have already, qualified. Um, have already, qualified for the knockout stages of the Europa League. Obviously, we did qualify after 4 games, and this game against FC Astana is our fifth game of the Europa League. So regardless of what happens, we are already into the knockout stages. But like I did say on my initial preview, I do expect Manchester United to win this comfortably, because obviously, FC Astana, obviously haven't registered one single point yet in the group. They have lost all their 4 games. Also, to confirm that I did update you on that, Michael Carrick and Kieran McKenna have remained in Manchester, but Nicky Bottom has actually travelled to Kazakhstan. Solskjaer has taken a lot of inexperienced players, so he's taken a lot of young players. I think the vast majority of them are obviously teenagers, and I think he's taken them around 14 teenagers. So he's also provided us with some team news, during his press conference. He has confirmed that Ethan Laird, Dylan Levitt, and Dishon Bernard will all start in the game. So they're all set to make their debuts. I think Solskjaer's also confirmed that Lee Grant is set to make his full debut for the club. I think Lee Grant has been at Manchester United now. Is it round? I think he's been at the club now over a year. As Lee Grant. So like I did say, he'll make a variety of changes, because like I did say, Solskjaer sees like the Europa League and the Carabao Cup as more chances, to give the youngsters more experience. But you can probably put into the equation now anyway that the Europa League is more of a priority, than the Premier League and that, because I think it's our only route to Champions League football for next season. Is the Europa League. You know, I think it's our only route, because I'm very very sceptical that we're going to get that top 4 in the league this season. And like I did say, our league form has definitely got to improve, and I think Solskjaer is very aware of that. But I can't see getting that top 4 this season, because we're currently 9 points behind top 4 at the moment. And like I did initially say at the start of this season, that I did say that our expectations would have been that top 4 this season, so we can obviously now get into the Champions League. I wouldn't fully disregard it, because there's still a long way to go. There's still a lot of twists and turns to come. We're 13 games into the Premier League season. We've registered 17 points from a possible 39, and we know obviously that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. But I just can't see us getting that top 4 this season. Also, there's some good news as well. That obviously Solskjaer hasn't named many. He hasn't obviously brought many senior players with him to Kazakhstan. I think there's only around 4 senior players that have gone, and that's Luke Shaw, Alex Tuanzebe, Jesse Lingard, and Lee Grant. As you all know, Luke Shaw has been out with a hamstring injury. He hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace. Tuanzebe has been out with a hip injury. Jesse Lingard, of course, was injured earlier on this season. Like I did put into the equation, he's also got to improve his performances, because I did say, reflecting on his status and the number of years he's been at Man United, he should be performing to the standards as we should expect from him. But it's good that Luke Shaw and Alex Tuanzebe have obviously now recovered from injury. Also, during the press conference, Solskjaer, of what I heard as well, he did actually praise, Max Taylor. He's another one of the young upcoming players. Don't forget, he did survive cancer and that. So obviously, Solskjaer was praising for that. Obviously, no one should have to ever go through that, like he did mention. But Max Taylor has also now made the journey. But like I did say anyway, we have got a lot of young players in our squad, that are developing and, trying to improve. Obviously Solskjaer is looking to recruit more young players into the football club, like he did do during the course of the summer. But, there's some aspects of me, that do credit Solskjaer, like I said, one of them is that, he has got a lot of trustworthy and his young upcoming players and that. Obviously, I've got some element of concerns, about, some of the young upcoming players. This is why I did say it would be beneficial, if we did get rid of some of them next year. And if we could do that, that would be a good business from the football club. But I can definitely assure that Mason Greenwood, Alex Tuanzebe, definitely Brandon Williams will all become successes at the football club. Mason Greenwood, by the way, has done really, really well this season. I do presume, he should be starting this game. Obviously, he's not. Obviously, my perception would be comparison, if it was in the league, because obviously he doesn't start from the start in the league. Well, he hasn't started yet from the start in the league this season, but obviously, he started quite a few of the cup games. And I do believe as Mason Greenwood does develop more, he will, flourish, and I think he will eventually, overcome Marcus Rashford, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. That's what I do believe. But Mason Greenwood is only the age of 18, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. And he's scored now 4 senior goals for the football club, this season in all competitions. Obviously, he scored his first Premier League goal in a draw with Sheffield United. Brandon Williams, he's been absolutely fantastic. You've got to say now that left back has been confirmed. I think now actually Brandon Williams is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice left back. And I did say initially, that he would earn more first team promotions, if he was to keep the consistency up. And this is exactly what's happened. So I do credit Brandon Williams. He's only the age of 19. So I do believe he's a much better solution than Ashley Young. I think he's also a better option than Luke Shaw. Despite the fact that Luke Shaw is our first choice left back. In the games Tuanzebe's played in this season, he's also now been very, very impressive. James Garner, in the games he's played in this season, he's been quite impressive as well. Yeah, and like I updated you not too long ago, this was actually prior to the Sheffield United game. It did also confirm that Eric Bay, Diego Dalot, and Fosu Mensah had also returned to training, but they'd obviously that current point, obviously not trained away from the rest of the squad. Matic, he's also been out over minor problem, so I think he's close to recovering from injury, or has recovered from injury. One thing I can assure that Paul Pogba and McTominay, will not be playing this evening. I've already provided you the news regarding them quite recently a lot. Obviously, I think it did say recently, that McTominay is out until Christmas with injury. He's been out since obviously when he limped off in the game against Brighton, because he initially sustained the injury in our last Europa League game in the 3-0 win against Partizan Belgrade, but his injury then reoccurred in the 3-1 win against Brighton. So it is an ankle injury McTominay's got. Don't forget, during the international break, he had initial scans on his ankle to find the extent, to find out how extent the injury was, and obviously now it is severe. So due to that, he had to withdraw from the Scotland squad during the international break. Did McTominay, but like I said, McTominay has been a revelation this season. Reflecting on his impressive performances. I am still sceptical about him being a long-term solution for Man United, and that, can he keep the consistency up? But he is definitely, going to be a big miss in that midfield. And he did actually Shaw recently that he's going to be missing the games against Man City and Tottenham next month, So he's going to be a big, big miss, but he's only the age of 22. So yeah, I think he's out until around Christmas time. Paul Pogba, as we all know, he will not be playing this evening. Paul Pogba is obviously, well, should I say, tea time, it's early evening, should I say. But yeah, so Paul Pogba will not be playing. Paul Pogba has missed the vast majority of our games this season, due to his ankle injury. The last league game we did play was the 1-1 draw with Arsenal earlier on in the season. That's the last league game we did play in that. But yeah, it did initially say before the Sheffield United game that Paul Pogba is expected out for another 3 weeks. But now, obviously, there's been a change of scenery because now recent reports have indicated out saying that Paul Pogba is set to return within the next 10 days. So he's set to return in 10 days for Man United. That's what I think it said yesterday. So reportedly he could come back for the game against Manchester City, because a lot of reports in the mainstream media have been saying that allegedly he's been faking his injury, to force his move away from Manchester United to Real Madrid. So these reports saying, he could have faked his injury. Sosljaker didn't initially say anywhere before that Paul Pogba is not expected back until December. But yeah, I think he's actually close now to recovering from injury, because don't forget, reports merged out the other week, saying that Paul Pogba had travelled to Amsterdam to have his ankle cast removed. So that indicates how he's recovering from injury. But yeah, but I think with Paul Pogba's absence, I think you've got to say that Fred has fulfilled his position well, because Solskjaer did initially confirm anywhere that Fred will take that Fred will take Paul Pogba's position for a while and that. And I think Fred's had some bad games this season. My overarching view on it, I just don't think he's settled in fully as yet. I think he's recently, rejuvenated himself. And I think he's blended in alongside McTominay in our midfield, recently, obviously, before McTominay got this injury. But I've more or less got the same perception on Fred, of what I've got of McTominay. I don't know if Fred is a long-term solution for Man United. Obviously, Fred has been here just over the year. He's only been here since the summer of 2018 and that. So maybe he does deserve more time at the club. We did overpay for him. We paid £50 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk, or was it just under £50 million? We did pay for him last summer. But he's fulfilled Paul Pogba's position well. But I think obviously Fred and McTominay are totally comparison to Paul Pogba in that, because when Paul Pogba is at his best, he is arguably one of the best midfielders in the world. But you can say he has been big miss in that midfield. But analysing Paul Pogba's tenure with Man United, I think he has been mainly inconsistent. In comparison to his time when he was at Juventus, because I thought he enjoyed 4 fantastic years in Turin, and like I said, he hasn't really replicated this Man United. Obviously, we paid £89 million for him. Obviously, he's our most expensive signing. Obviously, he's still got 2 years left in his current contract, with an option, to extend it by a further year. Don't forget, there was recent reports saying that he was actually refusing to play for Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because I said, he's didn't I say, he's got the same perception as what he had for the entirety of the summer. Paul probably, does want to make the move to Real Madrid. I said the reason he's moved to Real Madrid didn't materialise during the summer. Obviously, I was reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we was adamant he wasn't for sale, but it did say wanted around 180 million. Obviously, Real Madrid were reluctant to pay that. So this is why his move didn't materialise. But more than likely, Real Madrid will reignite their interest next year. There was also rumours about him possibly, making a return back to Turin during the summer, but it was mainly, Real Madrid that were in for him. So Paul probably still wants him out of the football club, and he's only 26 years of age. Is Pogba, he's still in his prime. He has still got a lot of development in him, and Solskjaer still knows deep down how much imperative player and that he is. But yeah, so he should now be back for the game against Manchester City. But reflect on the injuries we've had anyway. This season, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a lot of alterations in the squad. Um, so we have had quite a lot of injuries, this season. But yeah, we should win this game against FC Astana. But like I did say, it was a very very disappointing. Performance against Sheffield United. Obviously, that was our last league game. It did end 3-3. Like I said, for 80 minutes, we was on the back foot. I thought we had a good 10-minute spell in the game against Sheffield United. Obviously, when we did score them 3 goals, well, we actually scored the 3 goals within 7 minutes. And it's got to be one of the best. I think that's probably the best football we've played all season. What I saw in that 10 minute period, it was obviously good to see Rashford scoring again. Also got an assist. Rashford obviously has rejuvenated himself. He's done well in his last 7 or 8 games at least for Man United. And I know I have criticised him for the vast majority of this season, but he's done really really well recently in that. But I still said during his long bad spell, he's still a long-term solution for the football club, and that is Rashford. Because so far he's spent the entirety of his career with Man United, because overall he's been since the age of 7, been in the senior squad since 2016, and Rashford is now on 55 goals for the football club since he broke into the senior squad, and now this is his current 4th season in the senior squad. Obviously, Mason Greenwood scored in the game against Sheffield United, which was good. Obviously, Brandon Williams, scored his first goal in the Premier League, and he took his goal really, really well. But we were disappointed, that we didn't win the game because obviously, it was 3-2 up, and we did concede late on. But I think Sheffield United would have been more infuriated than us, because obviously they was 2-0 up, so they was obviously in a winning position, and we was close to winning our first game from a losing position, but obviously now had to be. But we need to see a total comparison performance, today against FC Astana, than what we saw against Sheffield United. But like I said, we was in a good run of form prior to the Sheffield United game. Like I said, we'd won 5 of our last 6 games in all competitions, and there was momentum that was building. There seemed to be more confidence in the players. We seem to be recently as well scoring more goals, which we have done. We've also seemed to be creating more chances. We struggled to create chances in large portions of the game against Sheffield United, and this is the explanation why we haven't been scoring enough goals for the vast majority of this season. Is because obviously we have been struggling to create chances in that. But you still got to say anyway, that the league is definitely now a priority, because top 4 obviously can't fully disregard it, and we have got games now coming up thick and fast in the league. We've got Aston Villa coming up. Then we've got two big games and the hard games as well. Tottenham and Man City. We've got to arguably say we'll lose at least one of them. Obviously, I'm hopefully that we don't. But I think we've probably anywhere got to win at least 2 of our next 3 games. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure is to be saved at Man United, because obviously now he is under intense pressure at the football club, just like he was before the Liverpool game. Obviously now he was under intense pressure. I was reading recent reports, and it did actually say we could sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and recommend Mauricio Pochettino in after the 7th of December and that. So I think the next couple of games are dependent on what happens with Solskjaer. Like I've said to you, I don't think he's the right manager for Man United. He's not the right manager. He's definitely not the long-term solution for the football club. But obviously, you have got the vast majority of Man United fans now demanding him out, because I've just got an element of concerns about him. For me, he just doesn't have any intuition on how to manage a big football club like Man United, despite the fact that he knows the traditions of the football club. He's tactically naive because obviously for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer has been tactically naive. Obviously, in some games and that, we have showed some tactical flexibility in that. There has been question marks around Solskjaer this season. Why has he also been playing Ashley Young on a regular basis? These question marks around that. Obviously, some of his substitutions and that are questionable, but he just isn't the right man. For the football club. I think obviously Solskjaer still insists he's the right manager to elevate Man United forward. Obviously, you've got Ed Woodward. That's obviously not got the same perception as Solskjaer because he recently, showed not too long ago that his job is safe. But due to our inconsistency anyway for the vast majority of this season, definitely Solskjaer is accountable for some of that. But obviously, not all the blame stems from him, because overall, I don't like the way the football club's been run anyway in the last 6 or 7 years. I think, to be honest with you, like I've said on numerous occasions, that a lot of the blame stems from the board. Because the board have been a liability for several years. I think also a lot of the blame does stem from Ed Woodward. So I think in that aspect, he replicates the board. I still also believe that you can blame certain players in that. So in that aspect, I think these more players that do need to leave Man United, despite the fact a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, and obviously the vast majority of our players that left in the summer obviously went to Italy, so obviously Italy was a very popular destination, but there's still I think at least another 4 or 5 more players that we do need to consider getting rid of next year. So these definitely still problematic players with the club. Like I said, Young needs to be moved on, Jones needs to be moved on, Matic needs to be moved on. I think we know Chon's going to be also leaving at the end of the season, so yeah, we've definitely still get rid of more players and that. But yes, I think we need to recommend a new board indefinitely. I think we definitely need to get rid of Ed Woodward, like I've said. We need a change of management. Solskjaer does need to go. Obviously, if we do sack Solskjaer, obviously, it's going to cost the club a substantial amount, to get rid of him. Obviously, we're going to have to pay something in compensation. Don't forget, Solskjaer's annual salary is $7.5 million. Don't forget he is on a 3-year contract. Obviously, he had been given this 3-year contract when he had been given the job in March, which was obviously now earlier on this year. And that was one of the mistakes Man United did make, was obviously giving Solskjaer the job. But maybe perhaps he could be here until January. Probably I'm sceptical about him being here until the end of the season. But one thing I can definitely assure that we will not see out his 3-year contract at Manchester United. He definitely won't. But we can't put up with it because we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for over 30 years. And we're not in the commanding position that we should be in. Reflects on the size, the potential of this club. Also, not only that, the money that's been invested into this football club over the years in all the managerial areas. We haven't only spent big on players. We've also got our players on big contracts and that. And taking into account, Solskjaer's actually inheriting a pretty decent squad. We've got quite a lot of good players in that team. They're just not playing as a unit and that. And it's basically Solskjaer. His philosophy just isn't right for the football club. But we definitely need a change of management and that. And so obviously now, there's still a lot of narratives going on in the media about Mauricio Pochettino becoming our next manager. Now, obviously, reflecting back, before we actually, recommended Solskjaer in, this was obviously, after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December of last year. Obviously, Mauricio Pochettino was our primary candidate. But obviously, we didn't get him. We didn't get him because obviously, he was reluctant to leave Tottenham. Obviously, like I said, Daniel Levy is a hard negotiator and that. And obviously, at the time when in for him, it did say would have had to pay around £32 million in compensation. But I already give you the couple of reasons why, our preference was Solskjaer, because obviously, Solskjaer was a cheaper solution. We didn't have to pay a substantial amount to get him in from Mould. Plus, he knows the traditions and that of the football club, and that's the way, Man United did see it. But now, obviously, Pochettino is managerless, and he's not only there's not only talks about him, coming to Man United. He's also been linked with the Arsenal job. He also held talks with Bayern Munich not too long ago. But to be quite honest with you, I don't think Pochettino, will be managerless for long, because analysing it, I do believe that Mauricio Pochettino is a very, very good manager. Obviously he's well Premier League proven. He is good at developing young players. And thought he did really, really well for Tottenham. He did enjoy 5 years with them. Obviously, last season he progressed, Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. He also, got them a couple of third place finishes. He got them runners up in 2017, and also progressed Tottenham to the League Cup final in his first full season. But my only element of concern I have got about Mauricio Pochettino is that, he hasn't won out in terms of silverware. But obviously he's totally comparison to Solskjaer. He's more experienced than Solskjaer. So you can arguably say that he would do a better job than Solskjaer and that. Obviously, before he was at Tottenham, I thought he enjoyed a great short tenure with Southampton. Obviously, before he was there, he was Espanyol. So Pochettino has been managing for just over a decade. Pochettino got sacked whilst he was on a contract, because he did initially sign a 5-year contract with Tottenham in the summer of 2018 with around £8.5 million a year. So I think if we do decide to sack Solskjaer, it's likely that Pochettino will be our next manager. And if he is to be recommended in, he will be our 5th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. That's providing that he doesn't go to Bayern Munich, or when he doesn't go to Arsenal, because I know that Solskjaer is not obviously going to last. But there's actually been a couple of managers on our agenda who could replace Solskjaer at the football club, and I think he's aware anyway, Solskjaer, of the pressure he's under, but yeah. But definitely further more investment is needed in the squad. And as you all know, Solskjaer is making plans for January. He's making plans for January in that. It recently said not too long ago that Solskjaer's drawn an eight-man transfer list of long-term targets. I think it also recently said that Solskjaer is very sceptical about his long-term targets, so he's considering bringing loan signings in, or some loan signings in January. But I do believe, from my own perception, we're orchestrating on spending another substantial amount on recruiting new players to Manchester United next year. Recent reports did say that Solskjaer is only going to be given around £100 million to spend in January. These question marks regarding that, though, and I think it did say he was also going to get £100 million next summer, so that's £200 million in total. But the question is, is that enough for us, to bring the right number of players in? Is it enough, to address all of the deficiencies in the squad? We will obviously have to see. It's probably all dependent on basically, how sensible we are over our recruitment, and that, are we going to overpay for players, or are we going to be sensible over our recruitment? I do not know. But Solskjaer, could still possibly be here by January in that. But he has got a lot of players on his agenda. I think probably for 200 million you could get around 3 or 4 players, because there was a prime example of it during the summer. We recommended 3 players in. We spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire. And, they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United career. So they're not accountable, for our bad performances, this season. Like I said, Daniel James has been surprised this season. I think he's done really, really well. And I'm actually surprised, the amount of games he has played, because I didn't expect him to play the games to the extent as he has done, this season and that. And if he does keep the good performances up, Daniel James's valuation will persistently grow. Definitely, but he has definitely now been a revelation. Don't get me wrong, he's still a prospect and he needs time to develop, but fair play to him. Got to say, Wan-Bissaka has been probably one of our most consistent signings. Harry Maguire has done well in that back line. You can still say we've got we defensively look quite poor, even despite that. We did bring Harry Maguire in, but he's another player we overpaid for. We paid £70 million for him. I think there was 10 million in add-ons, which did potentially rise it up to around £80 million. But I think, he's done really, really well in that back line. But during the summer, obviously, we didn't address all the problematic areas. So next year, obviously, we've got to get around two midfielders in. I think we need an attacking midfielder. We also needed a defensive midfielder. We definitely need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera, and we also need at least one striker. But I think Solskjaer is orchestrating on bringing two in. But we definitely no need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, because you can say for the vast majority of this season we look very exposed in that attacking line following their departures, despite the fact that Rashford's rejuvenated himself. Martial, since he initially came back from injury, he's added more inspiration in that attacking third end of the pitch. And so too, Daniel James is doing very, very well. But I just think, we've got to add more experience in that attacking line, definitely. We've got to add more experience in that attacking line, definitely. So that's what we need to do. I think we also need a right winger. But the two priority areas is that midfield and that attacking line. Possibly there's other areas in the squad as well that do need to be addressed in that. But the main thing is we've got to get a midfielder at least, and at least one striker in that. But Solskjaer, does need to be backed in January. That's if he, of course, he's still here, or whoever it is, needs to be backed. Because, like I said, my recruitment has been very poor for several years, and it's got to really, really improve. But obviously, when you're not in Champions League football anywhere, it is going to be hard to attract players to the elite level. Some people say, we should still give Solskjaer at least a couple more windows, to see who else he can recommend into the football club. Because obviously, analysing the vast majority of this team, it isn't Solskjaer's. There's only 3 players that are his. Actually, the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, because, Jose Mourinho did spend a substantial amount of the club. He spent, £400 million, was it, on 11 players, or just under that. And now Solskjaer is inheriting the vast majority of them. There's actually still a couple of players here from the Alex Ferguson era. So he's actually still in the process of rebuilding his Solskjaer. Obviously, he's only had one transfer window with Man United, and that was, the summer that's just gone. And obviously, we're aware that obviously he was going to always find it hard to, address all the problems in one somewhere transfer window. But yeah, so like I said, we have got a lot of players on our current agenda, and I do believe we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. We'll look to sign 1 or 2 players in January in that. Just want to give you this is some more transfer news regarding Erling Haaland. I've updated you about Erling Haaland recently, haven't I? I think it's very, very imminent. He could be coming. He actually will be coming to Manchester United in January, according to recent reports. Because our current heresy in that are convinced he will join Man United in January. Erling Haaland. Reportedly, we're preparing to put a bid in for him. I think reportedly he's going to cost us in the excess of at least £60 million if he is to be recommended in to the football club. Do you think Erling Haaland, would be the right calibre player for Man United? Obviously, the beneficial thing is that, he's already played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance, during his time with Mould. And I think Solskjaer's keen on a reunion with the player. And he's been a revelation himself this season for Red Bull Salzburg. I think he scored 26 goals in all competitions. I think this is actually his first season he's enjoying with Red Bull Salzburg. Only the age of 19. I think he's attracted interest from quite a few clubs, but it is mainly Man United that are in for him. But I think Solskjaer has actually identified him as his main priority target. But you've got to say, probably, would be a good replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Also, Jadon Sancho, he's Solskjaer's main priority target. It's both of them that are his main priority targets. He did say the two of them, probably, will cost Man United in the excess of around £200 million. Don't forget, we was in for Jadon Sancho during the summer. We also identified Jadon Sancho as our number one priority target back in January and that. But our move got skewed for Jadon Sancho with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. But recent reports have emerged out about him, saying that, now we believe we're the leading, we're the favourites to get, Jadon Sancho and that, because he did come out not too long ago and he did say that he does want to leave Borussia Dortmund next summer and that probably does want to rejuvenate his career. We are aware that he is going to cost us in the excess of around £100 million if we do recommend him in. Obviously, Man United have got that financial power to meet that valuation. Don't forget, Liverpool have also attracted their interest in him, like the likes of PSG and Real Madrid have been in for him. But he's enjoyed a good couple of years with Borussia Dortmund. He's now into his third season with Borussia Dortmund. I think he's enjoying a difficult time as we speak at this moment. But I think he's enjoyed 2 good years with them. And this is the explanation why his valuation has persistently grown with Dortmund. Because, Dortmund did get him from next to note. They only paid around £7 or £8 million for him from Man City. He did enjoy a couple of years with Man City, but obviously Man City, couldn't assure him first team opportunities, and this is the reason he left Man City to join Borussia Dortmund. And he's still got a couple of years left on his contract, quite a few years. He's still under contract with them until 2022. But Jadon Sancho is a player that can create chances, runs on off the ball are good. He can also provide, but only the age of 19 and that. And I think would be the right caliber player. He's primarily a right winner, but you can also, play him centrally. But hopefully now we can recommend him in to the football club next year. But I've already, given you updates of all or the vast majority of the players, that are linked with moves to Man United and that. Yeah. You could also say as well that we do need, we should and we still do need a director of football. And I did pinpoint out anywhere that's one of the structural changes, that we need to see at the football club. Because, there was quite a few former Man United players linked with that director's role during the summer. And I did say if we had to recommend one in, we need someone who would be reliable to oversee our transfer business. Because Ed Woodward's quite frankly not. We need someone, who's got the right philosophy for the club so they can recommend the right, calibre players in. And someone who obviously knows the traditions and that of the football club. Don't forget there was talks about Van der Sar, but he's now out of the equation because don't forget he recently signed a contract extension with Ajax and that. But I think Ed Woodward did say that he's still keen on recommending a new director of football in. But so that's one of the structural changes, that we need to see at the football club. Solskjaer, of course, has now been here nearly a year now. He's been at the football club overall. Obviously, he's been a permanent manager for around 8 months. And obviously, we know it's all gone wrong for the vast majority of that 8 months in comparison, to that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Because obviously, my perceptions were different then regarding Solskjaer in that 3-month period. Because then I did think, he was the right man, to elevate Manchester United forward. But obviously, it hasn't to be and all that. And but yeah, I think we need to get Mauricio Pochettino, and a lot of Man United fans are demanding him because they believe he would be the right candidate for Man United and that. So hopefully he can come in. But obviously I understand our point of view that we don't want to keep sacking managers anywhere. We haven't really got the structure to keep doing that. even though we have already sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. And I think the board softening their stance on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anyway, in the aspects that he's a club legend and that. But I think disregarding him being a club legend, you could arguably say he would have been sacked by now. But I don't think he will last much longer at the club and that. But people are saying us getting rid of Solskjaer, anywhere now wouldn't solve many problems. We can't just keep changing managers because it's not just the manager. Not all the responsibility stems from the manager. They've got to take some responsibility for bad performances and results, but it's also the players as well. But I just. I don't think he won't bring that winning mentality and that fear factor back to the club. None of that's been there anywhere since the Alex Ferguson era. And, doesn't matter who our manager is, no one can invoke Ferguson's legacy at the football club, and just wanted to, put that into the equation and that. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. We'll be doing my match reaction after the FC Astana and Man United game this evening. So join me for that. Take care. God bless, guys. Like I said, and I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching.